This is the Double Brain Java practice help video. It says right here that we are going to find the volume of each figure, round your answers to the nearest hundredth if necessary. We need the answers in terms of pi for answers that contain pi. When dealing with volume, the first thing you want to determine is whether it's a prism cylinder or a pyramid cone. Anything that has two bases, you want to shade the bases. This has two bases. The bases are CPR. They are congruent, parallel, and connected by rectangle. CPR. Congruent, parallel, and connected by rectangle. So those would be the base. So for each of these, your equation, volume equals base times height. Volume equals base times height. When you only have one base, which is a pyramid or a cone, that, of course, is volume equals base times height over 3. So for each of these, you have to be able to ask yourself, how do I find the area of this base? So for this one, we trace it. And that is a regular polygon. See the hatch marks? That's perimeter times apothem over 2. This base is a right triangle. And that base, of course, is going to be the first leg times the second leg over 2. Over here, this base is another right triangle. So that's the first leg times the second leg over 2. And of course, this base here is a circle. So once again, the base changes for every single one of these. Make sure you get the appropriate area of base and then follow through with the rest of the equations. Pause the video, work those through. This one says, find the surface area of the figure round to the answer to the nearest hundredth. Answers in terms of pi. And this is a sphere. So of course, to find that total surface area is 4 pi r squared. This seems simple, but whenever you have a radius, physically trace it. Do not just look. If you just looked, some of you would have picked up 18. But that 18 is not the radius, folks. 9ers. So be careful that you always physically trace your radius. Finish those 2 problems. Pause the video, then restart. Volume for a sphere is 4 pi r cubed over 3. Once again, physically trace your radius. Do not let your eyeballs determine what that number is. Quite often, it's going to be a diameter given, and you have to half it to find the radius, which of course in this case is going to be 2. Finish the rest, leave that in pi form. It says right here, each figure is similar. Use the information given to determine the scale factor from the left to the right. Some key words here. Scale factor is one dimension. And we're going to work from left to right for your ratios. You start with the information that's been given. So let's look at what's been given. What's been given here is the surface area. Let's determine we have one dimension, two dimensions, and three dimensions. If we're going to work in surface area, that means we've been going to be two-dimensional ratio because of area. Before we can get the ratio, we actually have to reduce. We're going to reduce these numbers left to right. You can start by dividing a number that you know goes into both of them. So we're going to start with a simple number like 4. So I'm going to go 1152 divided by 4. I got 288. I'm going to divide by 4. Let me keep my divide by 4, and I got 288. Dividing by 4 for 1800. And I get 450. I'm still going to reduce here. So let's see what else we can reduce. I'm going to divide by, I know they're both even, so I'm going to divide by 2. So 288 divided by 2, of course it's only 44. And this one's going to be 225. And you're going to notice that we have an even number and an odd number, and that's not divisible by 3, so that's as far as we can go. So we have here 144, and then we have 225. This is the x squared, y squared position. We want to go back to the first dimension, which is just x and y. So if our x squared is 144 and our y squared is 225, our job is to figure out what's our x and what's our y. Pause the video, do that problem. Now for 17, remember we're working with 1D, 2D, and 3D ratios. And the instructions, one is to find the scale factor, which is the first dimension. Let's look what we've been given this time. This time we've been given volume, which means we're working in already the 3D ratio. Step number 1, we're going to reduce these as far as we can get. So I have 1408 pi and 75465. And instantly you're going to get rid of pi and reduce, and I'm going to try to see what the largest number I can get in there. So I'm going to try 12. No, 12 doesn't work. 1408, I'm going to try 16. 16's even. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by 65. So I'm going to go 1408 divided by 16. I get 88. And 7546 divided by 16. That is not even. We have to divide by the same number. So 16 didn't work. Let's try something smaller. Let's try 8 pi. get 1408 divided by 8, 176. And let's try 7546 divided by 8. That doesn't work either. So 8 pi doesn't work. So it's just a trial and error to find a number that goes into both of them evenly. We're going to have to go smaller. So obviously, let's just start with 2. And do 2 pi and cancel. So 1408 divided by 2. And you get 704. And we're going to try 7546 divided by 2. And we get 3773. Again, our goal is to find a number that goes into both of them, and 2 pi checked. And that got rid of the pi. Now let's see what goes into 3773, which might also go in 704. Obviously, it's not going to be an even number. So let's try 704 divided by 9. Nope, 704 divided by 13. 704 divided by 16. We're doing 3773 divided by 3. It's not even. 3773 divided by 21. We're trying to find whole numbers that go into 3773. That'll go into both. Okay, we found this divisible by 7. Let's see if 704 is divisible by 7. Let's try 11. So we're going to go 704 divided by 11. And we get 64. And 3773, we're just trying numbers under 20. Divided by 11. And we get 343. Okay, now we're small enough to see what's going on. Now remember, we're working with volume. And we can't divide those anymore, so that means we're going to put 4 here and 43 here. 64 now is one number itself 3 times. That's going to equal 64. Start with numbers under 20. Start with 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times 3 times 3. Let's check out 4 times 4 times 4. Now, see if it works. Got it. Yes, that equals 64. That means the scale factor is 4. Is to find out what number finds itself 3 times going to equal 43, an even number, and it's 10. And that number is going to